What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode 24 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As always, I'm Tim Gettys. I'm joined by the coolest dudes in video games, Greg Miller, Colin Moriarty, and making a nice little special guest appearance, we got Nick Scarpino himself.
It's a Game Over Greg crossover episode.
This table.
There you go. He knows how to do it. He only knows how to do one show.
This is a crazy show. We're doing something crazy. We're always doing crazy shit. But the crazy thing today is that we're shooting our episode after E3, before E3, and there's actually like a week gap. So this is the furthest in advance we've ever shot.
I'm glad Sony won E3. I'm glad they won.
So this Gamescast is being recorded before E3 happens. And rather than post it right during the week of E3 when you wouldn't want to watch it, you'd want to know about cool stuff happening at E3.
Yeah.
We're posting it when E3's said and done.
Yes, because we can't record an episode during the week of E3, a normal episode.
Right,
Because
we're
we're
doing
going to be
episodes.
recording, at this point you'll have already known this, but we're recording special E3 Gamescast throughout the week.
Sure.
So it's gonna be fun. So we're going to do something different because we don't want to be talking about news and stuff from the future that we don't know. That'd be
Or
presumptuous.
boring shit from the past.
Or that too.
Man, I
That would be the other
wonder
one.
if Neil Druckmann came out at E3 and then he came out on stage and everybody's like, hey, Neil Druckmann's here. Like, if we said that now, we would look stupid.
I'm going to call this right now. Colin was right about everything. At
Well,
E3.
everything.
What a surprise.
Full points. to
Everything.
Colin
Just
Get in
Moriarty.
front of the table and genuflect at his feet, why don't you?
I think that Colin was right that we're
What word was
probably
just
going to
used?
see Fallout
Genuflect.
4 in some shape or form. Maybe a trailer early. Maybe a week or two early before E3. What time period is this?
What predictions need to be
Where
made?
are we? I can't remember.
So what we're doing is we're going to talk about our favorite video games of all time. So you guys have asked for this. You wanted this. Greg had the idea. I think it was Greg.
Yeah,
Be careful what you ask for.
Top fives.
Yeah,
from
top
each one of
five.
us.
Our top 5 favorite games of all time.
I'll predict
not
Nick's.
best games. Our favorite games.
Nick's
Each
are
one of us.
Axiom Verge,
No.
the first half of Dying Light, and then all files not found.
Close. Real close, Greg. You're a real funny guy with your cool slap bracelet.
You put that on me.
How are we going to do this? What is the system?
So the system is we are going to start with Nick Scarpino.
Oh, we are.
Yes, we are, and he is going to give us his 5 favorite games. But I'm going to allow him to add on whatever bullshit he needs to add on to that.
Right.
If he wants to add honorable mentions, sure. If
Okay.
he wants to have a top 10, sure. The
gonna-
headline's still going to say top 5. So that's what I'm dealing with. I'm just letting you know.
We
We're
like
going
to
for
lie
top 5.
to our audience.
Yeah, but before we get to that, there's the rigmarole. People need to know all the stuff. Where they can get this beautiful show. You know, every Monday through Thursday, broken up youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. We'll do a topic by topic. Full episode Friday. You can get it early. Patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. It's great. It's a whole adventure. You should do it. If you want to leave topics for us to talk about, you should go to the Kind of Funny forums at kindoffunny.com/forums. The link's right here if you're watching the YouTube video. Kevin.
Kevin, don't screw that up, Kevin.
It's clickable because Kevin's awesome. Probably.
Probably clickable.
But anyways, leave your topics there. We'll be grabbing them from you guys, and thank you. We love you so much. Now that that's out the way, Nick,
Yes.
what are your favorite games of all time?
Yes, brother. Well, obviously I'm not as hardcore of a gamer as you guys are. So when I think of the games that I've played, or my favorite games, I have to think back to the games that I was like religious about, like the games that I craved when I was at high school or in junior high. I'm like, I gotta come home and I gotta play this game. And one of the top ones on my list has got to be Doom. I've talked about it a little bit before, but it's one of those games where it came in like a box.
As PC games used to.
Yeah, and PC games. And no, it was the discs were actually like
3 and a quarter.
They were
inch.
3 1/4 inch floppy, but there was like 30 of them.
Yeah.
And you had to just sit there and install over and over. And I just remember
Oh, 3.5 inches.
3.5 inches. Yeah. Quarter, four
From
and
five
quarter,
and a quarter were the floppies.
Yeah.
Tim, you read about this in your history books.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was definitely what they taught me in high school.
So that was a game that was given to me actually by my old music teacher back when I was in 7th grade. He was like, "You're gonna love this game.
Way
It's
too
gonna be
young for
amazing."
kids, old man.
Yeah, he was cool. He was a cool guy named Mr. Usher. He was the dopeness.
Was your music teacher Usher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even put that together. How come you didn't discover me like Jay Beebs? But he gave me that game, and it was one of those. It was the first instance where I was like, well, first it was maybe one of the originators of piracy as well, because he gave it to every single person. We were just like, here, install this. I'm sure Ed Software really loved that back in the day. But that was one of those where you installed it because I had seen it somewhere, and I'm like, I have to have this. I need to play this game, and I had to figure out like how to if my system specs were correct, that they could play the game, and like how to go into my BIOS and like turn stuff off so it wasn't taking RAM.
Sure.
So that I could like free up the 2 megabytes of RAM that my computer had so they could play it. And then when you finally got into it and you heard that like, oh, like, you know, you saw the Doom logo at the very beginning of it, and you started it, and you're just in that first level. Like I could probably play that first level blind right now, and probably negotiate and hit the guy up at the bottom, at the front of the stairs, and get the secret passage and all that stuff. So that's got to be one of the top of my list. This is not in any ranked order specifically. The next one I have is another one of those games that I played religiously, never beat because I'm terrible at strategy games, but I'm going to give it to XCOM. It's one of those games that I didn't realize was such a big deal until I started working at IGN. And when they started doing top lists, I saw it pop up there. I'm like, oh, you guys know XCOM? And everyone's like, yeah.
Everyone knows
We know XCOM. And it was just, to me, it was one of those games where like you can't judge a book by its cover, but you can, because the cover was awesome. You flip it around, you're like, holy crap. This looks like my kind of game. It was right in the height of when I was super into X-Files as well. And so like it said it had the alien conspiracy, had these babes, had everything, had the X. They really had the nice connection. So I played the hell out of that game, and actually that's one of those experiences where it forged a huge friendship between myself and my good friend Ryan, because he came over to my house for spend the night for a sleepover. This is back in the day. We used to trade. I used to go over to his house, and his mom would make us cookies, and then he'd come over to my house and eat pizza and eat a ton of cookies as well. And we would play. We would just like mess around with the computer, and he's like, "What is this new game you have?" I was like, "Oh, you should check this out. It's called XCOM." And then he ended up playing it all night to the point where my mom came out at about 6 a.m. and was like, "You need to go to bed." And I had gone to sleep like 6 hours early. I was like, "Dude, you got this." And that for him, I think, was one of the first real eye-opening experiences with computer games, because he was a Mac guy, so all he had was what was the old Bungie game? Marathon. All he had was every time I'd play something on my PC, he'd be like, "Well, I got Marathon." I'm like, "Hey, bro, that's good. Good for you. Marathon looks great." So I'll give it to XCOM. Another.
Did you play the new one?
No, I didn't go into it.
Okay.
There's been a couple since, right?
Yeah.
Well, I played XCOM. I think I played X. There was like a one where they lost me when they went to Atlantis, when it went underwater. I was like, this isn't cool anymore. Space is way cooler than underwater games. But speaking of space and X's, I'll put. This is an honorable mention. I don't know if it belongs on my top 5 list, but I will put X-Wing up there as one of my top on the list. That was another one of those games where I'm like, you know, I used to go to a place called Egg Software to get all my games, and I was like, look, I'm playing this game, but like it's terrible right now because I have to you'd have to use the arrows because I didn't know to use the mouse because I wasn't smart like that. And eventually I got a flight stick, and the flight stick was a game changer for me. So I started wrecking shop on that. Never beat that game either. I gotta look at my others. Oh, and then probably on my top list, I would have to say GoldenEye has to be there to a certain degree.
That's a great pick.
When I think about obviously like the experiences of the specific like 2 summers that I played that game and Mario Kart 64. I'm not gonna say Mario Kart was my favorite, but I played the hell out of that game. But GoldenEye was like right at the height of me being a huge Bond fan. It was right at the height of me really being introduced to the series via Pierce Brosnan when he came in.
The best Bond.
No, I don't know about that.
Yeah?
He's up there, but he's not my favorite Bond.
The best.
I don't know. You know, best is a relative term.
In my top 5 Bonds, it's all Pierce Brosnan.
Just Pierce Brosnan. It's all of the movies that he's done, including The World Is Not Enough.
Yeah.
Widely touted as one of the worst Bond movies ever made.
Which one was that? Is that the one? The only one I've ever seen in full was the one that I thought Christmas only came once a year.
That's The World Is Not Enough.
Yeah, the best Bond, Pierce Brosnan.
Literally one of the worst. But I loved GoldenEye, and I loved GoldenEye for the single player. And then when we started playing the split screen multiplayer, it was just like
whole new world.
And it was hilarious because you had to. It was like learning a second language with that controller because it didn't really make a whole lot of sense. You were like, you know, depending on the game, it had just the analog stick straight in the middle, like a little like one nipple just sitting out looking at you in the face. But all my friends, we picked it up, and we used to go to my buddy Todd's house. He had his room was in the basement. He had this big ass TV, so it was the only TV we could actually play on that wasn't like. You didn't have to sit 1 foot away from it to figure out where you were going. And I used to be really good at that. To the point where like proximity mines were my jam. Yeah. My damn jam.
Facility prox mines only.
Absolutely.
Everybody knows where they are, but you can't move.
Yep.
Fuck.
Stalemate.
He totally mined the crossbeam. I can't get over there.
Oh yeah, you can't. You were screwed if you started. Like basically the game, it was like a game of chess where if you started in the air duct, you weren't winning that. You weren't winning the match. It really was. It was, the luck of the draw. Like if you started in the room with the tanks, you're like, dope, I got this. I can go across the hall, get the proxy mines, and just go at it and just mine the shit out of everything. And you just sit in your little, your little cocoon, waiting to hear an explosion. And by waiting to hear, I mean just looking at your buddy's screens. Because that was the other lost art of that, right? Which is like we don't have that experience anymore. Now when we play co-op or multiplayer games, you don't have that extra easy element of being able to develop that second sense where you're not even looking at your screen anymore. You're not. You're just looking at everyone else's screen, and you know where you're at. You're looking at your screen in your peripheral vision, but you're watching everyone else's screen. You're literally playing like this, and then when it's time for the kill shot, you glance over, pull the trigger, and you're back to everyone else's screen.
I feel like with a lot of modern games now, like single player, you'll be playing, and you don't even look at the actual game. You're just looking at the map to navigate. So you're just you're totally just, you see the colors and you're just going. That was how it was. It's like you don't look at your screen. You just kind of follow what everyone else is doing and see the walls and
exactly.
shit.
You know where you are and what the pattern of the walls in the room you're in. So you're looking to see that. Yeah.
Like I told the story before, but back when me and Alfredo would play Halo all the time, like Halo 1, I would just literally look down and I knew where I was based on like the patterns of grass and shit. And I was like, you motherfuckers can't cheat off me. I know where I am. You don't.
Is that because you just knew where every single spot was that you could hide and camp in?
Yeah. Well, I mean, all I would do is play capture the flag. And my sole goal was capturing the goddamn flag. I don't need to kill people. It's not the point of the game.
It's not the point. That's just the
That's Slayer. I ain't playing Slayer.
Points.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
So I would just sneak up like a damn spider monkey, get in there, get the flag. They wouldn't know what's coming.
Yeah, GoldenEye was special. It was all that multiplayer.
It really was. And then I think probably top of my list, or if not
number
top
one,
two, that's got to be Half-Life. I loved Half-Life. I loved that game. I loved the environment. I loved the weird storyline that I couldn't even tell you what it was now. But at the time, I was like, okay. It had such a great feel to the game, and it had such a great sort of. It wasn't humor necessarily, but it had a little bit of tongue-in-cheekness to it, where there was like this chaotic things going on, and of course it spawned a lot of other stuff outside of that, which, if I'm not mistaken, what they had. Counter-Strike was based off of it. Team Fortress. I mean, shit.
Half-Life 2.
Half-Life 2, I guess. Half-Life Episode 1, 2, and
is Portal the same world?
Portal
is
the same
in the same world. Yeah.
Portal. I mean, the orange box basically is all Half-Life. And that was awesome too. Like Portal was an amazing experience. Portal 2, not so much.
You're fucking crazy.
No,
your list is invalidated. Remove him.
Great game. Don't get me wrong. But the first time you played Portal, I was like, this is fucking amazing. And then you play Portal 2, you're like, this is great experience. But it's more of the same. So I mean, they added some more mechanics to it.
Wheatley was a game changer.
Oh my god. Only because I know who that actor is, and he's hilarious.
Steve Merchant.
Yeah. And then honorable mention I got to give to Final Fantasy XI.
I hate you so
I feel like
fucking much, Nick.
It's one of the most immersive Final Fantasy experiences. It's Tim's favorite. I know that it'll be on his list shortly. And when I played that game, all 3 hours of that experience were great for me. And then I'll give it to Massive Chalice as well.
You haven't even played Massive Chalice yet. You just heard me out there saying I need to do a Let's Play Massive Chalice. But everybody should buy Massive Chalice. Free on Xbox One right now. It's over on PC. What up, Double Fun?
And then, my last game is just I'll give honorable mention to Arkham Asylum. I really loved that game. As far as like more recent series, I love the Batman series. Love it. Love the combat. I give it to that game because it's one of those games that made combat in a third-person game perfect, and then you start seeing that everyone starts iterating on top of that. Assassin's Creed did it a little bit first, but they didn't do it as well.
They didn't do it right.
That hand-to-hand like brutality of when you see him you see it, and then when the first time you play it and you actually manage to chain that combo where he goes like he'll be hitting, block, and then flip all the way across the room and just slam someone in the face. You're like, this is the way this should be forever. Like, this is perfect. They nailed it. This is how Batman should be in everything. Animated series, movies, everything. He should fight like this.
Breaking arms.
They try to do that stuff. Like, they try to have that sense of chaos when you watch him in The Dark Knight or any of that stuff. Like, they'll shoot it closer and he'll drop into the circle and be like doing that weird like Krav Maga or whatever the style was.
Except for Dark Knight Rises, when they're like, let's put a lot of light on him and just show how slow all this is.
Yeah. Let's shoot it wide too.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we shoot it wide and make sure that
let's really make it look like it's a guy in a bat suit just punching a really bald guy.
So yeah, that's why when you play those games and all, and you have that experience and you feel like you're actually Batman for the first time, you're like, this is a great experience.
Yeah, Arkham Asylum, man, that was another game that was like they nailed it. Nobody expected them to nail it. I remember leaving the first preview. They came through to show that to us at IGN, and it was the first preview I ever did with Anthony Gallegos, who was doing it for GameSpy. and we left, and he was like, "That seemed pretty cool." And I was like, "I don't know, was it? Like I couldn't. It was one of those demos where they dropped him into the combat arena. This is how our fighting system was, and then jump to all right. And here's how the what did they call it? Fuck, stealth predator or whatever they call it, that predator mode.
The stealth detective mode,
where where you're just swinging around. The part where they have guns, so you have to just stay in the
in the shadows.
top. And so like that was such a weird like light dark kind of thing. It was just like an apple and orange experience of like, how does that mesh together in a video game where they're like, you're running around and you can kind of do anything and this that and the other. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, then you play it and you're like, oh
fuck, all right. Yeah.
You see that, like, you come to that first area where you kind of, I guess you come in and it's like the courtyard area.
Invisible predator.
Is that what it was?
I don't know, something like that.
And yeah, the first time you kind of like jump off and just fucking kick a guy in the face with both boots, and then immediately flip and slam it, and then the next guy, you're like, that's Batman, man. That's how Batman should be. That's how he should have that sort of fierceness. But also, I loved that mechanic. I loved that everyone had guns, and I loved that you still had to rely on stealth. And there was a little bit of you don't have to go too far with being a detective, quote unquote.
Oh sure, yeah, it walks you through it all.
But it's awesome that you have to use the shadows, and you have to do what Batman would do. Use everything at your disposal to eliminate the enemy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that experience, and I'm super excited for. Well, I guess by the time this comes out, we'll be able to play.
This will be going live on Monday.
So
and
one
for
more
YouTube.
day.
Yes.
The week after that, we'll
probably have copies of it.
That's awesome.
No, this will be going live the week of Batman. So Batman's on Tuesday. It's Monday right now for somebody on YouTube. Hello.
It might be Tuesday if they're watching.
Did we survive E3 is all I want to know. It's touch and go at the moment. It's touch and go at the moment, sir.
Okay.
Or ma'am. Or thing. Did computers become sentient in this dark future before Batman?
I don't think they did.
That's the PC gaming conference announcement at E3. And by the way, PCs are fucking live now. And they're watching YouTube videos.